Yo, what is up, YouTube? This is WashablePlatypi here. You might have seen me on twitch.tv/WashablePlatypi. I do stream every day, or mostly every day, but today we're going to be going over my account, my RTA priority picks, all that fun jazz. I am here live right now, so chat will be around. You probably will see this. I want to see some high YouTubes in chat. High YouTubes, you all are going to be YouTube famous soon. You already know. Uh, Anyways, guys, so I'm gonna be going over like my RTA units. Then we're gonna do a little bit of RTA, maybe if the video permits it. I know there's time limits on that kind of thing. So let's get right into it. Just gonna kind of showcase my stats, artifacts, kind of talk about how I pick, how I draft. I am a really boring RTA player, so when it comes down to it, I like picking 4 knights. I like picking 2 Soul Weavers, and I like going to Frenzy 9. Yeah, I'm not a very fun person to play against. If you pick SSB, I'm going to pick Dark Corvus or Awana, and you're going to take a nap until either the match is over or until you yield. Yep, Frenzy. Yep, Frenzy. So I do have, I would say, a good amount of DPS units built as well, though, so I can be pretty flexible. My account has every unit except for Pavel and Tempest Surin. So yeah, and this is going to be my first YouTube video that I post, so you'll be seeing more from me. Imagine OK Code versus Platy best of 7. That would be the worst thing ever. But yeah, so we're going to start off with my RB, Pride and Joy. I post this thing everywhere. It's no longer 200 KCP though. It used to be 200 KCP. But I do prefer the fast RB. I think you need mitigation, or you need to deal damage before they're able to put up their defense buffs, their anti-crits, any sort of mitigation. I think first pick RB is super troll. So if you are picking RB, I think he should be your second or even last rotation. I prioritize Fallen Cecilia as my first pick. I think Fallen Cecilia and Flurry are probably the 2 strongest first picks in the game right now in terms of RTA. Kayron, I actually hardly ever draft Kayron. I think he's in a really bad spot again. Mainly because of Berseria. So Berseria in Rosecleave specifically really just kind of dumpsters onto any Kayron users. It feels really bad. People are also too tanky for his damage to like really impact, right? He's great into anti-cleave, but a lot of the cleavers have picked up this Briar Witch's area. They've picked up this unit to kind of get rid of, and they don't have to worry about Kayron anymore. It doesn't have to be a force ban. And against tanks, if he can't extend his immortality by killing in a skill 3, he just dies. He doesn't have that second life like Arbiter Vildred. It's just really hard to use him. So overall, like, I have him geared in case I need to pick him. Like, let's say Cleave does not pick up that Briar Witch's area. Kayron's still a really strong pick there, but I think his usage rate is pretty low, for me at least. I actually just geared up my Assassin Coll. I think she's a tad bit too slow. I'd like to hit the 260 range. But in terms of tank busting, this unit is insane. You can use her kind of like Spectre Tenebria in those drafts where they only take like those single target bruiser like knights, stuff like that. Like if you're able to take away, let's say like the FCC, they draft like Real Crowd DN. They have the Flurry, they have the Rylet, everything single target. Assassin Coll is really good into those. You just have to make sure she can outspeed the Flurry, and that's why I prefer a little bit faster. I don't think she needs to be lightning fast. I do think, however, she does have to be at least around that 260. So I tend to not draft this A Coll as much as I'd like to, but that's just because I think she's a little bit too slow. I had to shift around some gear, but she is still a really phenomenal unit. Imagine if we spam the Dirt Pasta right now. Please don't. This is my Spectre Tenebria. I think my Spec Tenny is pretty solid. She's got good defense. She's around the 200 speed mark. Immunity, good attack. No imprints. Looks like we got some Pokemon Simps in chat as well. I love Spectre Tenebria. She fits my playstyle really well, and oftentimes I lose matches because I like to force her in situations where she's not that great. So, she's a great unit though. She's really fun to use. And since I am the tank and spank knight abuser, you already know I have the really bulky Rylet. I want to push 1.4k defense if possible. I think after I 90 this piece, I'll be somewhat close. I think I'll be like 1390 around there. I won't be gaining too much because the defense percentages isn't really that high. I do prefer this build over the fast one. I was running like a 250 speed Rylet for a while to go with the Flurry Rylet combo. However, he just kept dying. And Rylet, you'll hear me talk about it a lot. I talk about it on stream. I think Remnant Violet is the biggest sandbag of a unit, and I think he is going to be the cause for a lot of people not hitting Legend RTA next season. Because they're going to tilt off the face of the earth. It's going to come down to the last like 3 or 4 matches that they have to run. And then they're going to pick Rylet. And as soon as they pick Rylet, he's going to not dodge. And then they're going to tilt and lose their next match and then get pushed out of Legend and be like rank 105 out of 100 or 104 out of 100. He really is hit or miss. Would I not want immunity on him? I do. I really would like immunity on the slower, like 200 speed Rylet build. However, I do not have the immunity gear for him. 100% someone is going to miss Legend because of Rylet. He is too sandbag. Briarwitch Asaria, I don't draft this unit that often. She's just there. She has some World Boss gear. She is draftable. I would be willing to draft this, but I think I want to I-90 some more pieces and replace a couple pieces as well before I do draft this unit. However, like I said, you can kind of draft her versus Charon if Charon's the only DPS. Force out the Briarwitch's area ban. And if you're Rose Cleaving as well, she is phenomenal in Rose Cleave. So don't listen to people. She's good. She has her uses. She's actually, I think, a really strong unit still. So definitely worth investing in if you have her. This is my Seaside Bellona. I opt for the 0 speed drink build. I do run the crit damage as well, and I think effectiveness is one of the most important stats, if not the most important stat on Seaside Bellona. Hitting those defense breaks, the unhealables, and the unbuffables on the higher priority targets like the high resist Ruels, the Crows, the DNs is extremely valuable. I cannot stress this enough how valuable landing these debuffs are. It's to reverse sweep SSB herself. So if you guys know XSkyKing at twitch.tv/XSkyKing, he recently had a 5v5 RTA tournament that I was part of. Team WashablePlatypi, myself, backs against the wall. Had to reverse sweep, and this SSB right here clutched it out. She output a lot of damage, and I don't think they were ready for that. So I'm really happy with this SSB. Yeah, there's not really much else to say about her, honestly. We're going to skip down to Faithless Litica. I don't really use any of those other units in RTA. I actually recently just built this Flitica. I was like, hey, I got some leftover gear. Hey, I can make a Flitica now. I need an I-90 the neck for that 100% crit chance, and I would like more effectiveness if possible. However, you know how E7 is. You don't always get the gear that you want. So once I potentially I-90 this, I don't know if this one's worth it. She'll be sitting at 277 speed, 130 effectiveness, 100% crit, and I think I can be pretty happy with that. So I'm going to be using her a lot more. Let's just say that. I'm trying to think of some fun ways I can use Flitica. Let's go to my Alencia. So I think my Alencia is pretty solid as well. Alencia, one of the best units right now, I think, in terms of the bruiser playstyle. If you're looking for the best bruiser in the game, she's your unit. She gives probably the strongest buff, which is, I think, defense buff. Defense buff really, really, really makes units hard to kill, especially if you're drafting like the bruiser knight style. as well as outputting a lot of damage. Her overall kit, like, she has a defense break, she has 2 hits, like, she scales well off of HP, she's not really affected by attack down. Yeah, overall, just a really nice kit. Like, everything about her just is nice. I don't know what else to say. Like, she has that AoE ability. She can reduce the cooldown when she has the Mind's Eye, right? So she reduces the cooldown of her skill 3 whenever she gets that proc. I feel like some people forget that. Yeah, mine's only A imprint as well, so I could squeeze out a little bit more HP if possible. But yeah, no, I really do like Alencia. She's still really strong. We're kind of seeing her fall off a bit because of how popular Flurry Rylet is. But yeah, also I'm gonna change this filter real quick because my head is shining a little bit too much. There we go. A Tywin, everyone's favorite unit. Probably the most broken MO5 in the game right now. I opt for the higher effectiveness build. I think stunning. Oh, can I include right side stats? Yeah, sure. On Alencia or for which unit? Or throughout the video. We can go back through. I prefer the high effectiveness build. I think landing these stuns provoke slows on those targets like Ruel, Dien, Kraus. Like, provoking a Crow before he can horse you is super, super important. Super strong. Yeah, like, but yeah, plus 27 Holy Sack. I like to live through this 5%. It makes me happy. When it doesn't proc, I actually think it's really funny. I've had it not proc like 3 times in the past, what is it, like, week. Feels bad when it happens, but, you know, it's just part of the game. And I think it's just fun. You guys wanted to see right side stats, so I do run HP, speed on my right side. So I targeted, like, high bulk rolls and then the effectiveness rolls. So, like, high effectiveness here. This has effectiveness and speed. The attack and FRES are actually pretty useless here. So if this were like flat HP defense, this A Tywin would be a lot nicer. Even bulkier than he is now. Again, effectiveness, health, defense. I really targeted those stats when building and like choosing his gear. Again, more effectiveness, health, defense with some speed. And again, health, effectiveness. These 2 stats are pretty irrelevant. So again, this could be flat HP and speed, and that would be better. But yeah, 152, really good. The base ER stat line, I would say, is about 150 now. So, like, this gives you a pretty good chance to land on most units. This is my Holiday Euphine. Yeah, 152 effectiveness with an HP ring. Yeah, I really targeted the effectiveness stats. I don't know. This Euphine has been working so far. I don't really have many complaints. I would like more attack. I am running defense, effectiveness, and speed on the right side. Ideally, I'd like a attack with high defense instead of the like defense with decent attack. I prefer Junkyard Dog over the Champions Trophy. She's been working. I don't draft her all that much. A lot of the times you can draft her just as a Force Man versus Bassar. Other than that, though, like, she's just a super solid unit. Her Mola investment, however, like, I do want to finish this out. I've run out of Molas. I ran out 2 days ago, so unfortunate. Apoc Ravi, you guys wanted to see. Someone wanted to see my Apoc Ravi. I don't actually draft her. This is just kind of filler gear for now. This is my Cdom. No Mola Sag, yeah. But there's no Mola Gore problem in E7. Cdom, I would like faster. She's not full I-90. She's on kind of filler, not filler gear, but not high priority gear. I don't really prioritize I-90ing any of the rest of these pieces right now. Where do you find the link for the question of the week? I don't know. Probably on the E7 stream. I'm bald. Yeah, what up, Ray? Like, a lot of these pieces are not high priority for me. And, like, this piece right here is really bad. This piece right here is really bad. Never going to I-90 this. It's just sitting here. Pog you ring. It's my fastest ring. It is not my fastest ring. Let's move on to the flurry. So, I actually really like my flurry. Her build has changed quite a bit. She used to be 264. Now, after I reforge these two pieces, she will be sitting at like 262, I believe. So dropping speed, more effectiveness, and a little less bulky. But I am running a defense ring here, HP on the right side, and then speed. So again, high effectiveness. Everyone has like that one stat that they roll on their account, and I'm pretty sure mine is effectiveness. But that's okay. I'm okay with that because that's the playstyle that I've kind of chosen as well with some of my knights, and you'll see that down below. This is my Crow. I don't really draft Crow that often, but he's still a good knight to have. I would prefer if mine had more HP and was a tad bit faster, but overall, still pretty good. Again, 3 purple pieces, so for me, I would consider myself a pretty in-game player when it comes to gear. I think Crow, to make a nice Crow, like you want 6 red pieces, 6 epic pieces of gear. That goes for most of your RTA units, right? You want to be super stat efficient. You need to min-max everything. So for me, I'm constantly looking to like replace some of these pieces, find like flat HP instead of crit damage, stuff like that. But overall, this Crow works. I don't draft them all too often. This is my Basar. I do opt to run the slower Basar. He's not finished yet. I do need to I-90 these next 3 pieces, but I do prefer tankier as opposed to like the faster one. And actually, I need to switch his helmet because the helmet that I was going to use opened up. Is it this one? Yeah. So I do prefer the slower Basar here. Fear, thank you for the follow. I'm not gonna read out that full name, but I appreciate that. I think this is fine for drafting against like the DNs, the Alencias, and the Crows, and the FCCs. It's also slower than most Fiends that they pick to counter you, so it can make things interesting if you decide to not ban that Fiend. Let's see. This is my priority pick right now. Priority pick number 1 for me is my FCC. Hey, how's it going, Mevlin? For those of you also just joining the chat, we're currently recording a video for the YouTube. We're recording, yeah, the clean 26K. It's actually so nice. It's like so pleasing. Yeah, it's so satisfying, right? And the clean 100 effectiveness. That's my favorite part about this FCC, right? Everything is like perfect. Everything is perfect. However, the ring's not I-90. I do not plan on I-90 this ring anytime soon because it's not very good. But again, like I said, I prefer effectiveness, and that's probably just because my account has rolled effectiveness. But I have like, where is it? Like effectiveness here, like some effectiveness, flat HP here. I am on the effectiveness ring, but I do like the chance to, again, provoke those high priority targets. If you're able to, like, let's say, provoke a Crow right before he horses, super important, right? Like, it can change the tide of the match and allow you to get that one extra bit of damage on a unit, or allow a unit to survive one more turn, and then you get more skills back up. Like, being able to stall that way is like super relevant in my opinion. So that's why I like the effectiveness there. Oh yeah, the Basar gear, sorry. So it's pretty Yeah, it's 16 speed, some effectiveness and HP here. No effectiveness. Some bulk, but not too bulky. Again, defense, health, effectiveness, speed. Effectiveness, HP. The crit chance and attack are kind of bad. This effectiveness ring, I wanted to roll more speed, but It went defense, flat defense, so it's okay. And then effectiveness and speed here on that. No self-imprint. I'm missing self-imprints, and then +3 into skill 3 for that skill cooldown. I do run the counter Dizzy. Sometimes I do draft like Emil Tywin, Bassar, and Dizzy. I think that comp is disgusting. If they give you all 3 of those units, they are not moving. Like if they ban no cleanser, they're not moving. And you are kind of just free to just take as many turns as you want, and you don't need to be Omega fast for that. So I really do like this Dizzy. I feel like the slower counter ones are more valuable with bulk because a lot of the times you want her to move after their immunity has worn off. If they only draft one source of immunity team-wide, like let's say a Fire Cecilia or a Vivian, and you ban that out, their immunity goes. If they can't kill this Dizzy, she's going to start laying down those debuffs. She's also on Violin. Super solid unit still. Like, Dizzy still Omega obnoxious. Like, I highly suggest having Dizzy built for RTA because there's a lot of times where you can just be like, oh, they drafted no cleanser, and I can just lock in, like, Bassar Dizzy here. Or I can lock in, like, Alencia Dizzy, right? Alencia to strip off the immunity on their higher priority DPS targets. Stuff like that. Dizzy's still just really strong. AoE stun on skill 1-2 is nothing to like scoff at, right? Like 25%, it's the same as like an Abyssal Crown, right? AoE. It's crazy. Increased damage on debuff to enemies too. Not that that matters, but again, 90% of the time they will be debuffed. I could self-imprint her, but I think team-wide attack is actually a lot better for Dizzy, so there's that. Yeah, if you don't get Dizzy, wait for the second GG rerun. True. This is my Ruel. I prefer a little bit more speed if I could get it, but right now I'm pretty happy with where she's at. Ideally, you want Touch of Rakdos, I think. Ideally, I think you want Touch of Rakdos. But since I'm slower, I do run the Water's Origin, and it has been working out quite a bit. People try to pop this Ruel. She's pretty bulky, right? I have pretty good defense, 20k HP. She is self-imprinted S for the HP. But yeah, I do like this particular build. I'd like a little bit more FRES. As we're starting to see more and more people build these higher effectiveness units, it also means you have to push your FRES higher as well. So being able to like resist those, like 100 effectiveness FCCs, right? Being able to resist the Emil Tywins, the flurries, like is super important. But the way effectiveness in FRES works in E7 makes it extremely difficult for you to actually stack enough stats to not only be tanky enough, but to resist. So a lot of the times it's just more efficient to either bring a cleanser or to ban out the units that you think are going to be problematic there, because you're always going to be at a disadvantage trying to resist these debuffs. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of the way that the game works. You also kind of have to pray and rely on the 15% innate resistance as well. But yeah, I think if anything, at 173, it'd be more efficient for me to drop my FRES a little bit for more speed, because the difference between 150 and 173 really isn't that much. As for more knights, this is the only knight that I have that isn't able to run the higher effectiveness. I just opted for speedier with lots of bulk, so lots of defense. Around 240 speed. She'll be 241 after I reforge, or if I decide to reforge the sword, but it's really not that great, so I don't think I'm going to. I like Lilius to be able to survive, honestly. However, I want to find an HP or a like HP ring or neck instead of defense. If you guys have been doing RTA at all during Season 2 or into preseason for Season 2, Flurry Rylet is incredibly popular. I'm sure you guys have at least seen it in some tournaments, seen other streamers use it, but your Lilius is most likely going to have to eat one Rylet skill 3. So in that case, you're going to want more HP as opposed to the defense, right? Which is why I'm looking for the HP, like let's say a high HP ring or a high HP. Sorry, HP with high defense ring or neck, vice versa. Whichever comes first, whichever drops first. But again, still constantly farming, still trying to get that piece. So for now, I'm pretty content with this. She serves her purpose as just a general purpose knight with the dual attack here, super important. A provoke that you can ignore effect res with Soulburn, which is really nice. And then again, the full team cleanse and a self CR boost, as well as a pushback. Pushback is pretty nice. Rowana, I think Rowana is extremely important. You did not miss the podcast. I actually will be on a podcast with Gabe tomorrow. That's what the podcast is. Right now we're just kind of going over my account, because I'll be uploading this to YouTube, and then kind of talk about like my draft strategies and stuff like that for RTA. I'm really excited actually for this RTA season. I didn't really say that, but I am going to be pushing for Legend. So a lot of you guys pushing with me will be able to use this video as well, just to kind of see what I have. But I don't really mind that. I just like competing, and competing with some of the best players, not even just in global server, but in the world, is super awesome. So putting yourself up to that test and really like grinding out these matches is going to be fun. So I'm excited for that. Rowana is an extremely important unit to have right now. She counters a lot of things, right? SSB being one of them, Broman being another good, like Rona's a good counter into Broman. If you guys watch the tournament though, Broman kind of sandbags just as much as Rylet. Pick both of them in the same comp, and you're bound to lose by one of the other. Either your Rylet doesn't dodge, or your Broman sits there and does nothing. That's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. But I do like the bulky Rowana, the slower Rowana, high F-res, and then Stella Harpa. This artifact is, I think, the best artifact to run on Rowana because she has no cleanse herself. Since she's slower, Potion Vial, you're not going to get the turn generation to get these debuffs off. And if you're drafting this against SSB, she's going to get hit. So if they don't ban the Rowana, chances are you're going to be able to have multiple opportunities to cleanse off team-wide debuffs. It's really nice. Either win or you don't. True. Minty Keck W. Yeah, rip Minty. So this is my DN. I actually built this DN, and I aimed for these stats with this speed, kind of based around my own RB, but for a lot of the other RBs in the server as well, and just in general for RTA. So let's say most Arbiter Vildreds hover around the 220 to 230 range. I wanted my DN to go before that, right? I want to be able to put up her anti-crit buff on her skill 3 before they move, as like an added layer of protection for my units. Now we all know anti-crit doesn't work. The buff is bugged, because for whatever reason, no matter how many times I put it up, RB still procs straighter and crits my entire team. But the idea is there, right? I had the right idea, and the idea was just to like try to protect my team a little bit more, on the off chance that the game really bugs out and allows anti-crit to work. Yeah, it does make me feel a little bit safer until I'm dead. I'm running HP Effectress speed on the right side though. Yeah, it's like a nightlight. You're right. You're right. It is like a nightlight. But again, the high speed is also really nice because of the amount of turn generation this unit can get. So I don't know if you guys remember back when DN was first released 2 years ago, like in 2018, December of 2018. Yeah, don't pull Mystics for Stella Harpa, by the way. Sorry, just saw that. I don't think it's worth it for that, especially with ML Crow coming out soon, unless it's the Crow rotation, which I don't think it is. But DN at the beginning of the game was just super obnoxious to deal with because of her turn generation. DN paired with Flurry, ironically speaking, two of the most relevant RTA units still right now as well. So it's crazy to see how far this game has progressed, and still some of the oldest units that have been released, some of the older limited, like the first limited unit, still relevant today. So it's good to see. Blue Rose, I have it. I don't draft it because I had to take a lot of her gear, so she's a lot slower now. Don't think she's that strong right now. At least in my playstyle. If you have your units geared for Blue Rose, she's amazing. Like if you have the faster Charles, if you have a slower RB with like more damage on Elia's knife, she's insane. However, for me, the way my units are built, it doesn't really work out. But I have her just in case, right? She's not fast enough though, right? Ideally you want her on 260 speed. I'm missing like 15 speed on mine. Where'd it go? I don't know. But yeah, really good unit if you have like everything else kind of tuned around your Rose Cleave, a more DPS oriented FCC, damage on your ML Tywins, stuff like that. But for me, since I am bulkier with not as much damage, Blue Rose is not as effective for me. I was testing it out a bit during free and equip, or last free and equip in the game, but for right now she's just kind of sitting here. I'll use her in arena sometimes just for fun, or like Guild Wars, but honestly not a huge priority pick. I don't think I ever pick Blue Rose anymore, but again, she's here. Fighter Maya, I'm currently working on my Fighter Maya. I want the counter Elbrus version, but this is work in progress. The next time you see a video from me, maybe she'll be awakened, maybe she'll be finished, but and then my Blood Moon Haste. So I think Haste is actually just a really good unit even when there's no Arbiter Vildred. So mine is not full I-90'd. I do need to 90 mine still, but as just a pick to like have, like I think Blood Moon Haste is crazy good. Scales really well into Frenzy. Like I'm saying really well. His skill 3 is going to ignore penetrate defense, right? It's penetrating defense. So if he lives, you're gonna just start chunking people with this skill 3. He has an attack imprint here. Sometimes I do self imprint if I want to try to push that 25k HP. Penetrate, yep. Gotta love Twitch chat, right? But yeah, like scales really well into Frenzy, and the fact that like you can get around all this like adamant mitigation, like you can get around the fact that like they may have anti-crit buff, like it doesn't crit. So yeah, exactly, right? Like he's good into Rylet as well. So sometimes, like let's say they go Rylet first pick, you can go like RB and Blood Moon Haste, right? Pick away the counter. Blood Moon Haste still serves as a really good way to deal with the Rylet, and then it also makes it harder for them to draft units like Ruel. Or I guess if people use Maid, no one really uses Maid Chloe anymore. Maid Chloe kind of sucks because of Blood Moon Haste. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the units that I use. A lot of my other units that you see here just do not have the gear, or I'm missing like certain pieces. I had to gear other units. So they're just kind of sitting here. Like Alots, for instance, I only use my Alots in expeditions right now. I don't really draft him anywhere else. Alots is an expedition only unit. Same with like Euphine, like Green Bellonas for haunts, stuff like that. Like, but for the most part, that's pretty much it. So draft style, like I said, I like to do Bruiser's Knights. I enjoy going to Frenzy. I enjoy putting my chat through the suffering of watching me Dark Corvus people in RTA. Did I go over my Dark Corvus? I think I skipped over Dark Corvus, didn't I? Yeah, I actually did. I skipped over my Dark Corvus. Yeah, this is my Dark Corvus. He's nothing special. He's a little slow. I want him to be faster. He's not full I-90'd. However, it still works. So, Timeless Anchor is a must in RTA, though. 100% a must use. Because of how many Soulburn Ignore Efraz abilities there are. Yes, this is my FCC. Crit set DC. Yeah, true. Got to get those big crits in, right? As Frenzy gets on, that skill 1's about to pop some DPS. Do I have Kayron built? I do have Kayron built. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate this. Again, I hope you guys check out the rest of the content that I do plan on putting out. Again, follow me on twitch.tv/WashablePlatypi. The link's going to be in the description below as well. I stream every day. I usually start around 5:30 p.m. Central Time. and we go for about 4 to 5 hours depending on how the night's rolling. So we'll be putting that down there. Again, tomorrow I'm going to be on a podcast on someone else's stream, so we're going to be talking about some pretty cool stuff. I'm excited about that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Again, remember to comment, rate, and subscribe, and yeah, come for the SCP gameplay. Thank you guys for watching.